everyone, thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to do a restorative practice. So please make sure you're dressed warmly. I'm wearing a sweater today so that I'm not cold at all. When you're warm, because you're wearing enough clothes, then your body doesn't have to work very hard to keep you warm. So maybe you're already in a warm room, but as soon as we start doing the restorative postures, the body calms down and tends to cool off a little bit or becomes cooler. So just make sure you're wearing enough warmth. And then come into sitting position. Sit tall, lift up through the torso, broaden across your chest, and bring your hands together in prayer position or one palm over the other over your heart center. Close your eyes and feel your whole body. Try to be at ease, but keep the posture, and the posture is that you're sitting tall and upright through the trunk and relaxing your legs and your buttocks down towards the ground. Be aware of your breathing, and then join me with the sound of Om on the exhalation if you'd like. Inhale. Om. And then lower your head. Take your hands, palms up over your thighs. And then inhale and raise your head upright. And then you can open your eyes if they're closed. Take your hands up to your shoulders so that your elbows are shoulder height and your hands are here on the shoulders. And then in this one, you can keep your eyes open or closed, but focus on the third eye. So whether your eyes are open or closed, you're just having your attention there on your third eye. And you're going to inhale to the right and exhale to the left, in and out through the nose. So you can begin. You can go with the pace that I'm going or go at your own pace. Inhaling right, exhaling left, getting the spine to warm up, moving a little in the spinal twisting. Gazing at the third eye. Then come to the center and lift up on the root lock, which is lifting up the rectum, the sex organs, and drawing your navel in. Close your eyes or keep them open. Hold the breath as you inhale first. Then hold. Lift up on the pelvic floor, navel in, chest open, shoulders down, third eye gaze. Hold the posture and exhale out the nose. Then inhale the nose. Hold, lift up on the root lock, navel in, third eye gaze. Relax your face. And then exhale. Last time, inhale deep. Hold the breath. Shoulders away from the ears, lift up on the root lock, sex organs are lifting up and the navel's in. Third eye gaze, elbows extended out from the shoulders. Relax your face. Then exhale. Arms all the way down, hands on the legs, relax. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. This next one is a breath practice, pranayama, kriya, that will help strengthen your immune system. So how you do it is you extend your tongue all the way out like this, and you have like an O-shaped mouth, and you make a panting sound. As you do this, your eyes are closed, you're focusing on the third eye, and so you can begin. Just extend out your tongue. You can keep going, making sure the breath is coming out the mouth as you extend the tongue all the way, and you're moving your belly. The breath is coming from the torso, not so much from the throat or the face or something, the jaw area, but from the lower torso. Third eye gaze. Keep going just a little longer. Good, and then go ahead, inhale through the nose, long and deep. Hold the breath and press the underside of the tongue on the roof of the mouth and squeeze the spine. Exhale out the nose. 2 more times. Inhale the nose. Underside of the tongue, pressing into the roof of the mouth and squeeze the spine. Squeeze. Exhale. And last time, inhale through the nose. Hold. Squeeze. And then exhale. Exhale all the way and relax. And then as you're ready, you can open your eyes. For this class, if you didn't read the notes, it's fine, but for this class, what you need are a few things that I'm hoping that you have around the house. You need a chair and a place at the wall if you have it. Now, the wall is not essential, but if you have it, set yourself up by the wall now. And if you have a bolster or some yoga prop like this, that's great. Definitely get it. But if you don't have that, you can stack a pile of blankets or towels so they're about this height. Or you could also get a couch cushion, right? A couch cushion, which I'll show you mine. So this works pretty well, the back part of the couch, or even like the seat, the part that you sit on, the seat. If you have this kind of couch, not everyone does, but if you have that kind of couch, you can use one of these. And if it's squishy, like this is pretty squishy, then you can put a towel over it or something to firm it up so it doesn't squish in so much, so you keep the width of it when you're reclining over it. So go ahead and get those things if you haven't already, and then come up to standing. So in standing position, I want you to take your chair along the long side of your mat and then walk your feet wide apart. So we're going to forward bend, and I want you to forward bend so that your legs are extended and your torso is extended, but that you also have your forehead resting on a surface. So that's going to be the chair seat. If the chair seat is too low when you come into the forward bend, you can put a bolster or blankets, something that you have to elevate the height of the chair seat. So with your legs wide, turn your toes inward a little so that your outer feet press into the floor and your inner feet. Lengthen your legs, and with long legs, you can extend up through the torso. So when the legs are engaged a lot, it's easier to lift up through the trunk. So do that now. And feel the length coming from low in the front of the body, so below the navel, around the pubic bone. Feel the length starting there and coming all the way up to the collarbones and then even up to the top shoulders. And then keep that length in the front of the body and the active legs and come forward and take your hands to the chair. And then maybe you have to extend the chair a little forward so that you can then rest your forehead on the chair. So from here, you can sort of see me, but I'm going to come into a different angle so you can see it better, can have a more perfect understanding. So you want to have wide legs, and then the chair in front of you, and maybe some props or something on top of it. If the chair is too low for you, you want to make sure that the chair seat is high enough so that you can keep the length in the front of the body. So with wide footing, toes in, and if you're already in the pose, keep your feet pressing into the floor, and then come forward and adjust the chair as you may need to so that you can keep getting length in the front of the body and rest your head on the chair seat. Best you can, keep your buttocks aligned up over your legs, over your feet, or so that the back of your buttocks aligns with the back of your heels. So that means the buttocks is not extending far back behind the heels or coming forward in front of the heels, more aligning with the toes. So find your position best you can. Be comfortable. Let your arms rest up on the chair seat so that your arms aren't working to hold you in the pose. And then allow your forehead to really push or sink or release, or all three of those, into the surface that your forehead is touching. And allow yourself to relax. as you're in it for these few minutes that we have, that you feel more open in your legs, and then maybe you could lower the height of the chair seat if you were using some props, or perhaps push the chair a little further forward away from your legs so you can have lots of length with ease in the torso. Keeping the legs active and letting your trunk be more passive now. And to come out of this, take your time, take your hands to the chair seat, push into the chair seat, use some arm strength to lift yourself up, then walk your feet in a little bit, heel toe, then walk your feet all the way underneath your pelvis and come up to standing. For this next one, you need a wall, or at least I'll show you with the wall, and then if you don't have a wall, I'll show you a variation. But if you have a wall, stand in front of it about 1.5 feet away from the wall, and then your feet are wider than your mat. So if you have your mat there, it's easy to measure. You have your feet on the floor on either side of the mat. And then face the wall and extend your legs, lengthen up through the legs so they're active, and let that help you lift your torso. And then go ahead, bend over. You have to maybe turn to the side a little with your head, bend over, bend your legs, and maybe walk in a little closer to the wall as you have your bent legs, so that you have your back touching the wall with bent legs. So you're so much folded forward that your legs are bent and you can feel the back of your body on the wall. And then any amount you can straighten your legs and let the back of your body lean into the wall. So you can keep your legs bent the whole time if you need to. What's important is that you allow your torso to hang and then have your back pressing or releasing into the wall. It feels really nice. It's very deep. Feels really nice, very calming. And when you can straighten your legs, if you can straighten your legs, go ahead and do that. So stay in the position if you have a wall. And if you don't have a wall, then you have your chair. So come around to your chair, hands on the chair, similar situation where the feet are wider than the mat, maybe a lot wider because the chair is going to have that chair seat that's kind of low. And come forward over it and see if you can get your shoulders to rest up on the chair. So instead of your back touching the wall, you have your shoulders up on the chair. And your arms are, you can see my upper arms are also on the chair, and my forearms and hands are hanging at the side. So my neck is free and my head's hanging down. Of course you can have bent legs in this, it's almost the same position. The only difference here is you have to make sure with bent legs that you're still letting your shoulders lean into the chair. Otherwise your legs are taking too much of the weight. When you straighten your legs in both of these poses, it forces the weight to be more in your back, where there's a leaning forward more, so it's either held on the shoulders if you're at the chair, or pressing into the wall if you're at the wall. Now if the chair seat is too low, again you can use the props, whatever you have, to adjust so that you have your upper body up on it. It's a little trickier the higher up you get with the props, but it still works. So allow your neck and head to soften and let go. Stay in the pose. Neck and head releasing, letting go, falling towards the floor. The legs are just active enough to be supporting your torso, your neck and head in the position. The legs, whether they're bent or straight, can take the weight, they can take some of the weight and help direct what's happening in the torso and your neck and head. So just a short time longer here, stay in the position. Be aware of your breathing and allow your breath to be soft and smooth as you inhale and as you exhale. Come out of the pose, regardless of the one you're in, bend your legs and move a little bit away from the surface. Your backside is on, and turn a bit to the side so you don't bump your head in the wall or the chair, and come all the way up to standing. Allow yourself to feel how you're feeling, which is a bit more relaxed, and also your attention just naturally pulls inward when you do forward bends. So looking around the room, or thinking strong and hard about something is more difficult after forward bending, and even though you just did a couple, they were quite deep. So allow your mind to stay drawn in, and come to your mat and take your bolster or your couch cushion if that's what you have, or a stack of blankets or towels so you have some height. And the height that you want is several inches here, and also long, because you're going to lay your torso over this. And then take a blanket or something to the back end so that there's a little height for your head. And then come sitting just for a moment on your heels, a little bit away from your bolster. So don't worry if this is not comfortable. You're not going to be here long. I just want you to sit so your torso's upright, shoulders over your pelvis, and the legs folded here underneath you. And so this is the bolster's on your right if you're mirroring me, and then you're going to drop off onto your right buttock and right hip. And you can adjust your legs some way that's comfortable here, extending over towards the left. And then this bolster needs to pull, or prop needs to pull right into your right hip, the center of it. Hands on either side of the prop, lift and upright through the torso, lift your chest, then turn and twist away from your legs. So that would be towards your right here. And with the lift and a turning in the torso, extend yourself over the prop, so you are spinal twisting, and then rest your head either facing the same direction as your knees, or if you can extend and turn and twist enough and it's comfortable, you can turn your head and look away from the direction of your knees. It can be a little tricky to see my torso if you're looking deeply at it, just understand, just because I'm wearing this loose sweater. But you want to feel that your spine is long and you're twisting and turning from left to right on this side. And then your cheek, the cheek that's resting on the cloth, is the one that's the most comfortable. So if it's easier on your neck to have your right cheek on the cloth, then be that way. Don't overdo it. But if you, without strain, if you can turn and have your left cheek, then do that. It's important that you soften your shoulders, and a little bit you can let your chest round here so that your upper arms, outer chest, outer shoulders are kind of rounding over the prop. Don't allow your arms to hold you in the pose. Let them be passive. To come out of this, adjust your hands by drawing them near to your waist. Push your hands into the floor there and use some arm strength to come all the way up. And then come sitting back up on your heels. So you're sitting back up on your heels, or aligning yourself back upright here so that your spine is aligned. Upright is no longer twisting. And then turn to the other side. So you can just turn around. You turn around, sit a little bit away from the props, and then drop down onto that buttock cheek. Relax the legs in a position that's comfortable. Make sure the bolster is aligned, so it's aligned with your hip on the side, about the center of the hip. Your hands are really your fingertips on either side of the prop. Lift up through the torso, turn and twist towards the left. So you're long in the torso, then turning and twisting from right to left as you come down, and you can rest on one cheek. Relax your arms. Relax your legs and your low back. soft, smooth, easy breathing. To come out of this, just draw your hands down towards your waist, then push your hands into the floor using some arm strength to lift yourself up, and then come sitting up on your heels. Good. Then come around. You're going to use the same stack of props, whatever you have, and then one blanket or pillow, extra pillows for your head. This time you're going to back bend, so your backside is going to be up on the props. But I do want you to have a big blanket, maybe a blanket. This one is from, it's a queen size blanket for bed. Okay, and then from here, you're going to sit so that you're a little bit away from your prop, whatever it is there. And then open up your blanket all the way, because you're going to use it to help support your legs. So just open this big blanket or whatever you have that's big. And then, it could even be a sheet. Bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana, which I'm hoping you know, is the soles of the feet together. And draw the feet in close towards the body. And then, this is too big a gap between my backside and the prop. So I'm just going to move myself a little closer, but don't push into it yet. And then so you have your legs in this angled position, and then take the blankets, and they are to cover your legs, and part of the reason for that is warmth, but then all this extra bulk, it needs to tuck underneath the upper thighs. So if I didn't have this over my legs, you could see maybe better where I have all of this extra bulk lifting my thighs up so they're not dropping down, and the bulk there, the blanket, is under the upper thigh, not out here under the knee or something. So it's both sides like that, tucked under, and then take the rest of the cloth over your legs so you have some warmth, some covering there. Then your hands behind you on the floor. Fingertips is ideal if you can use your fingertips because it gives you more height. Push down through your fingertips, using arm strength, lift up through the trunk, and with extension, lots of extension, come back over your prop, and then take your pillow underneath your head so the back of your skull is supported. If you feel you have low back pain, it may be that you need to come out again and extend more through the torso and come lying back down again, trying to keep more and more extension coming to you as you lay down. Another option if you have low back pain is to just a little bit lift up the pelvis, lengthen with your hands the skin from the back waist over your buttocks, kind of draw that flesh down over your buttocks, and then drop your buttocks again. And make sure there's lots of cloth lifting the outer upper thighs up in this, so it's very passive for your legs. Even if your legs could go further down towards the floor, keep them propped up because you don't want them to open that much now. You want it very, very passive, very soft on the inner thighs and the groin area. And then if you have enough blanket to pull up over your belly, it's nice, nice warmth, yes, but also like a protective shield. And even if you had another blanket or coat or something, if you wanted to put over your chest as a covering, it's ideal. And then lengthen the back of your neck a little bit, and you can even use your hands for that, so that your chin drops down towards your chest. And then tuck your shoulders under a little bit more than they already are. And then let your hands be palms up at either side of you. And then just be here, taking a few moments just to feel what it's like, what you've created for yourself, how you've placed yourself on the ground now in this position. And allow yourself to relax and be comfortable, so that actually the longer you're here, the more comfortable you become. And sometimes the brain starts being very active as soon as you lay down and kind of get comfortable, and especially when you cover yourself and you're warm. But try to gently relax your forehead and the brain inside there, so that you're not thinking so much or putting your mind into the future or thinking about something from the past. But instead you're here, feeling, hearing the music, and allowing yourself to soften and let go. And as you bring your attention to the breath, allow the breath to be soft and smooth and long and easy to do. So that means your inhalation and your exhalation are a little longer than what they would normally be. So you have to direct a little attention on extending those two parts of the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. And it's okay if there's space after you inhale and before you exhale, and space or just an emptiness or a stillness after you exhale and before you inhale. You don't have to rapidly breathe as you extend the breath. Be aware of your buttocks sitting on the ground there, and then just up from the buttocks, the back side being lifted by the prop underneath you. And let your back body really rest into that surface. It'll help you open and expand the front of the body. And as you feel the back of your head on the pillow, the blanket, let it lean into the prop there. The back of your head kind of leaning into the surface it's touching. And let that help you relax your face. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. But if you'd like to join me into the next pose now, then lift your knees upwards towards the floor so your feet are on the ground, and then roll over to your side and come up. You can use your arms to help lift you. So for this next one, you have two options. So if you have a wall, I'll show you that one first, and then you come into it and you just stay there. And then for those of you that don't have a wall, or when you watch this video repeatedly, maybe sometimes you want to do it without using the wall. So in this one, you put your bolster at the wall or whatever height you have that's going to give you some elevation up off the floor, but not too wide. So if you have the couch cushion, it's going to be really wide, and all this width is going to be on your back side here, over your pelvis and into your ribs. So that's a little too wide. So you'll have to stack blankets or towels. So from here, then you sit up on the prop and draw your side of your hip towards the wall. So I'm sitting up on it. And then go ahead, if you can, just take your legs up the wall. So not everybody is open in the hamstrings enough so that you can do this, but you can adjust and go quicker than I'm doing. But best you can, you keep your buttocks up on the prop and you lay yourself down. And if you come down and you're kind of falling off, it's okay. You just take your time and scoot yourself back in towards the wall. And maybe when your legs are up the wall, the back of your thighs are not on the wall. That's okay. You're just keeping your buttocks, your pelvis, up over the prop, and then your legs elevated and your feet at the wall, best you can. But if you can, wiggle yourself in enough so that the back of your buttocks and the back of your thighs are touching the wall, then definitely do it that deeply. And then for sure, once you have your legs set, you tuck your shoulders under so that your shoulder blades are moving towards your back waist. This will help you keep your chest open and lifted, which you want, and keep your neck long. So palms up at your sides and be here, relax here. And if you find that you're not all the way at the wall like I am at this moment, but if you find that as you're here, you're opening more and more into the pose, the body's letting go and stretching and opening up, then you can, of course, adjust yourself back closer to the wall. Be here, stay relaxed, be at ease. And then I'll show the other position. So for no wall, then you use your chair that you have, and you can use the bolster right next to the chair. And then you sit up on the bolster, or whatever the props are that you have in your home. And then you take your legs up over the chair. So I'm just going to move this chair a little back so that there's room for my calves to be held up on the chair seat. And then with my buttocks up on the prop, I'm going to use my arms to help me just come down onto my back. Then when I'm here, it's just the pelvis that's up on the prop, not the ribs. So the ribs should be falling away from the pelvis. It's the same if your legs are straight up the wall. I didn't say that earlier. But the rib cage is not touching the surface of the prop that's underneath your pelvis. And so with the chair, you have your calves up on the chair seat, the knees wide, the feet closed. So not the knees touching, the thighs, legs touching, but knees wide, and that'll help spread your low back. It's more relaxing, it's softening to the low back because it allows the low back to spread instead of compress or constrict. And then palms up at your sides, and be sure to tuck your shoulders under, and then re-extend your arms at your sides. As you're here now, swallow, and that'll help you relax the line of your jaw and all the way to the ear and even the inner ear. So you could swallow a couple of times, feeling the jawline and even the throat in front release and let go. From here, breathe a little more deeply than you have been. And wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. And then draw your knees towards the chest and roll to the side. And keep rolling. Take your hands to the floor and take your time and come up to sitting. And then from here, if you don't have a wall, come up and sitting in a simple, easy pose on your bolster or pillow, whatever you have. But if you have a wall, then take your bolster to the wall and come sitting at the wall on top of it. And at this point, if you have some essential oil, which I hope that at some point you'll get, then go ahead and take it to the thumb mounds and then rub the thumb mounds and the palms together. This is the thumb mound on the palm. And then take that same area of the palm to the carotid arteries and put the oil there. And then continuing, if you have, take a little more and take it to the arches of both of your feet. So 3 points for the oil: the base of the thumb mound, the carotid artery area, and the the arch of the foot. And then bring the soles of the feet together if you're at the wall, and lean back into the wall. So if you don't have a wall, if you're in the middle of the room, then I'm not suggesting the soles of the feet together. I'm suggesting cross legs and you sit upright, because there's no wall behind you. It's a little too difficult for most people. You have to work a little too hard to have the soles of your feet and be away from the wall. So if you have the wall, do this position. And this is the last position now, so I want you to be relaxing. I want for you to experience the benefit of the postures that you've done today, these restorative, restful positions that move the spine in all directions, spinal twisting, forward bending and backward bending. You had your head supported in all of them. Even when the first ones, the forward bend, when the head was hanging, there was a support there coming from the back side of you. So allow yourself to be at ease now, sitting in this position that you've chosen. And breathe easily and focus on your third eye. That's the place between the two eyebrows and a little bit inward. It's where the top of the bone of the nose meets the skull bone. And just gently focus your attention there. Meditative mind, quiet body. From here, lift your hands up from where they've been placed and draw your palms just out from your waistline area, palms facing one another. Be sensitive to the palms and the fingers, and slowly bring your hands towards one another. Eventually touching, sealing the practice. It's the end of class for today. Thank you very much. Namaste.